may believe you are a good listener. Let's explore. You may feel that when someone speaks, you give attention. You sit quietly. You hear the words. You understand the situation. You allow the other person to speak. And because of this, you may carry this idea that listening is already one of your good qualities. But the moment you learn what real listening demands, the question can shake you a little. Because listening is much deeper than hearing words. Listening is patience. Listening is humility. It is a discipline, emotional control, a respect. Listening is love in practice. And when you measure yourself against these qualities, you may feel astonished. You may realize that you hear people, yet you interrupt. You hear people, yet you prepare your reply in your head. You hear people, yet you judge very quickly. You hear people, yet you feel impatient. You hear people, yet you already decide that the other person means what the other person means before the sentence is complete. And this is where the real question begins. Are you truly listening, or are you only waiting for your turn to speak? Because silence alone is not a guarantee of listening. Sometimes you're silent, but inside your mind there is a storm. You're preparing for the answer, preparing for the defense, preparing for advice, for comparison, for correction, and you're preparing your own story. The other person is speaking, but your mind has already left the room. This is where listening is. This is why listening is rare. Speaking comes easily, reacting comes easily, giving advice comes easily, judging comes easily, interrupting comes easily. Listening requires effort. It seems to be a passive quality, but it's not. It requires that you pause your ego for a moment. It requires that you allow another person to exist fully in front of you. It requires that you stop controlling the direction of conversation. It requires that you receive before you respond. And this is difficult because the mind loves control. The mind loves to complete sentence. The mind loves to say, I know where this is going. The mind loves to say, I already understand. The mind loves to say, this is the same old story. But every sentence has a life of its own. Every conversation carries a possibility. Every person may carry truth that has never been spoken before. And when you cut someone short, you may kill the possibility. You may think you saved time, but maybe you closed the door. You may think you already knew the point, but maybe the real point was coming in the next sentence. You may think the conversation was ordinary, but maybe it had some life-changing thing hidden inside it. This is especially true with the people closest to you. You may be a patient listener for a client. You may be a careful listener for a stranger. Maybe a respectable listener for someone senior. Fully attentive when there is a professional advantage. Beautiful when you want to impress someone. But when the people closest to your life, your listening may become careless. With your mother, father, partner, friend, your sibling, a person closest to you, you may assume you already know everything. You may say, I know this. You may say, you have said this before. Come to the point, leave it. You may say again, and you may finish the sentence before the other person completes it. And this is painful because closeness should create more respect, more patience, more tenderness. But many times closeness creates impatience. You take person for granted. You assume the person will understand your tone. You assume the person will return again. You assume love can survive careless communication. But attention is also love. When attention disappears, a person can feel lonely even while sitting beside you. A person may gather courage for days to say one honest sentence. A person may rehearse the same sentence again and again. The person may wait for right mood, right evening, right silence, right softness in your face. And then when the moment comes, you interrupt. You look at your phone, you laugh it away, you give a fast answer, you say, I know, you change the subject, and that person may close again. The sentence may remain trapped inside. The courage may disappear. The heart may say, this person will never understand. And then the conversation may never return. That's the cost of poor listening. Poor listening can create distance. It can create bitterness. It can make persons stop sharing. It may make a relationship feel empty even when the relationship is alive in name. You may lose access to someone's inner world simply because you failed to give attention at the right moment. So before you call yourself a good listener, do the self-assessment. Ask yourself honestly. First, can you listen till the end? Can you allow the person to complete the sentence? Can you allow the story to unfold? Can you sit through pause? A pause is also a part of conversation. Sometimes words take time, sometimes emotions block the throat, sometimes a person is searching for courage. Silence means the real sentence is about to arrive. If you rush into the pause, you may interrupt the deepest part. Second, can you listen without preparing your reply? This is very important. If your reply is already forming while the other person is speaking, your attention is divided. One part of you is hearing, other part of you is preparing. Real listening requires full presence. You first listen, you understand first, you respond later. A conversation is always healthier when understanding comes before reaction. Third, can you listen without judging? The mind judges quickly. This is silly, this is dramatic, this is weak, this is unnecessary, this is overthinking. But the moment judgment enters, listening becomes narrow. A judged person becomes defensive. A heard person becomes open. If you want someone to speak honestly, your presence has to feel safe. Fourth, can you listen without instant advice? Sometimes a person speaks because the heart is heavy. Sometimes a person speaks because silence has become unbearable. Sometimes a person speaks only to place pain outside the body for a while. You may rush to solve. You may say, do this. You may say, move on. You may say, be strong. You may say, forget it. But fast advices can feel like dismissal. It can sound like, finish this quickly, I have no space for your pain. Advice has a value when person is ready to receive it. But before advice, give presence. Before solutions, give space. Before correction, give attention. Fifth, can you listen without making conversation about yourself? I have, as far as this point is concerned, I have gone through this, and I believe this has been my biggest weakness, because of which I have had great losses in life. Someone says, I'm tired. You begin your story. Someone says, I'm hurt. You bring your own wounds. Someone says, this happened to me. You say, something worse has happened to me. Your experience may be real. Your pain may be real. Your story may be powerful. But if every conversation turns back to you, then the other person begins to feel invisible. A good listener knows when to share, when to stay quiet. Sixth, can you listen when you disagree? This is a serious test. Can you listen when the opinion is different? Can you listen when words are uncomfortable? Can you listen when anger is directed at you? Can you listen when your own image is challenged? Mature listening means you allow the other person full sentences. Mature listening means you allow full sentence to arrive before you defend yourself. You can agree after understanding, but when you react before understanding, you argue with your own assumption. Seventh, can you listen to emotion behind the words? People speak through tones, people speak through silences, people speak through tired eyes, people speak through a weak voice, people speak through hesitation. Sometimes I'm fine means I need help. Sometimes leave it means please ask again gently. Sometimes anger means hurt. Sometimes distance means fear. A good listener listens beyond words. A good listener hears the wound beneath the sentence. 8. Can you remember what matters? If someone shares something important with you and you forget it again and again, the person begins to feel small. You do not need to remember every small detail, but you should remember what matters. Remember what hurts. Remember what scares. Remember what gives hope, what has been trusted to you. Remember the sentence that came with tears. Remember the dream that came with excitement. Memory is respect. 9th, can you protect what is shared with you? If someone opens the heart in front of you, the truth becomes your responsibility. Never use someone's vulnerability as a weapon in anger. Never turn a private confession into a public comedy. Never punish honesty. When a person feels safe with you, that safety is sacred. A good listener protects the dignity of the speaker. 10th, can you listen with patience when pain repeats? Pain repeats. A wound often tells the same story many times because heart is still trying to understand what happened. You may feel tired, you may need boundaries, but never humiliate someone for repeating the pain. Sometimes repetition is a signal that healing is incomplete. 11. Can you listen especially to the people closest to you? This may be the most important test. You may offer patience outside and impatience at home. You may offer respect to stranger and sharpness to your own people. You may offer polished attention to the world and careless attention to the person who loves you most. This is where listening has to improve first. Begin at home. Begin with your closest person. Begin with the voice you interrupt most. Begin with the person whose sentence you already assume. Begin where your patience lives, because the people closest to you deserve your best listening. After this self-assessment, you may feel uncomfortable. That discomfort is useful. This means awareness has entered, and once awareness enters, change becomes possible. Listening can develop. Listening can be developed now. You can train yourself. You can become better. Start with small habits. When someone speaks, keep the phone aside. Look at the person. Let uh, him or her finish the sentences. Allow silence. Delay your reply. Ask, do you want me to listen or do you want my suggestion? This one question can change conversation. Sometimes the person wants guidance. Sometimes the person only wants space. Sometimes the person already knows the answer. Sometimes the person only needs a peaceful listener. You can also repeat the essence of what you heard. You can say, so this hurt deeply. You can say, so you feel ignored. You can say, so you want support in that moment. You can say, so this has been inside you for a long time. These small sentences tell the person, your words reached me. And when a person feels heard, sometimes relaxes inside. The problem may still remain. The situation may still be difficult, but the heart feels lighter because being heard is healing. Sometimes a person does not need your reaction. Sometimes a person do not need your opinion. A person does not need your wisdom. Sometimes a person only needs your calm presence. A peaceful listener can unburden someone. A peaceful listener can give someone courage. A peaceful listener can make someone feel less alone. A peaceful listener can save a conversation before it becomes a wound. So become that person. Become the person in whose presence someone can speak slowly. Become the person who allows sentence to complete itself. Become a person who does not rush to correct. Become a person who does not make pain to look foolish. Become a person who does not punish honesty. A person who listens deeply to understand what words are trying to protect. The world is full of noise. Everyone wants to speak. Everyone wants a reply. Everyone wants to prove. Everyone wants to explain. Everyone wants to be understood. A good listener is rare. And because a good listener is rare, a good listener becomes valuable. Your listening can become a gift. Your attention can become a safer place. Your silence can become medicine. Your patience can become love. Your presence can become the reason someone opens the heart. So the next time someone begins to speak, pause. Do not hurry. Do not complete the sentence. Do not assume the ending. Do not reduce the feeling. Do not turn it into your own story. Listen as if something important may arrive in the next sentence, because many times something important is waiting there. A relationship may change in next sentence. A truth may appear in next sentence. An apology may arrive in next sentence. A confession may arrive in next sentence. A cry for help may arrive in next sentence. A life-changing conversation may arrive in next sentence. And if you cut that sentence, you may never hear it again. So listen. Listen with patience, with humility, respect, and presence. Listen with awareness that every human heart carries room you have never entered. Sometimes the key to those rooms is only this. A person feels heard. That's enough. That's powerful. That is listening. And in a world full of noise, if you have become listener, you can become a place of peace for someone. Be that person.